Hey yo, hey, happy Monday. Happy what this next week is the last week. It's the 23rd of December. I hope everyone had an amazing weekend. Um so I'm just going to jump right into this little conversation. Last night, hold on. Okay. So, yo, those that know, all right, with MS, let me just start talking about. Sorry. Okay, before I was sidetracked, let's talk about weather, like temperatures and stuff like that, outside temperatures, and how it affects MS. So, as y'all that have been following know, I just moved into this place. It is run by it's a private home run through a property management group. And, I wouldn't even really be thinking about wanting to move already if they would at least fix some of the things that they're supposed to fix around the house. Um, there's literally a breeze coming through my front door. There's a breeze coming from a hole right there. The kitchen window that's over there on the side of the steps. Let me just bring y'all with me. Hold on. That kitchen window, I like to open it so I can get more light in the kitchen, but I gotta keep it closed because it's nothing but air coming through. You can feel it. You can like literally feel the breeze. And the window won't lock or close properly. Then there's a hole down there between the wall and the cabinet. There's a huge breeze coming through. You see, I got the ghetto heat on. It's not safe. And then there's a hole up there. Let me see. So y'all can see I got this little blanket thing trying to block a lot of the major. But y'all see that right there? That gap? It's nothing but cold air coming through. Nothing but cold air. And like you could, like, okay, not to mention, I'm not trying to like, just complain, but it's not a complaint. The floors, I have to keep something on my feet because the floors are freezing because there's nothing underneath this place. So this house is an original carriage house that's attached to the house over there. So it's like a little patio, and then the house that this used to be attached to is on the other side of the street. We all know what carriage houses. Well, not all of us. Some of us know what carriage houses are. Carriage is like a buggy, like back in the 1800s before there were cars and stuff like that. They had the horse and carriage. So this is the place where they would store all, the carriages, probably a horse or two or something like that. That probably was what a stable, the little gap in between these two buildings. So they converted this into a house. Okay. So back to the weather thing. MS has so many different, like, I guess you can say nuances that you wouldn't think would matter, but they really do matter. Like for me personally, wearing a lot of clothes on my skin, it hurts because my skin is super sensitive. So me having to turn up the heat, which is not good for MS, plus put on clothes, which is not good for me with MS and my skin sensitivities. Like I don't even like being touched. That's how sensitive I am. So, and people are like, "Oh, you don't like being touched?" No, I don't. No, I don't. So, because it's very painful. Even the lightest touch like that shit hurts. It don't feel good. So, I found in like I didn't think that I would want to move so soon, but this winter, experiencing winter in this place after already experiencing the summer in this place, because it took a lot to cool down the house as well, due to the gaps and holes and stuff like that. It is just not. This house is not meant to be lived in for long periods of times. I don't believe, and I believe if management actually took the, you know, head out their butts and came down and actually did the small things. These are small things. I'm not asking for much. You put some, you know, like whatever. You know, it's so frustrating, y'all. Like, I can't understand. I did Habitat for Humanity when I was a teenager. I built a couple houses. So, like, I don't understand what's so difficult about unscrewing something, putting something in, or like, the frustration is beyond. So in the midst of me being frustrated, of course, I found an article because I'm looking for different places and states to move to. So this article I found is called "In Search of the Ideal MS Climate," and it's written by Mitch Sturgeon about 4 years ago in October. So I'm gonna read what he wrote, and these are you know, his thoughts and experiences with weather, which mimic a lot of what I go through, which is why I would like to share. Okay, y'all. So, in search of the ideal MS climate, I'm gonna start off. This is not me saying, this is me reading the article. I live in the great state of Maine. What's so great about it? Let's start with lobsters, blueberries, and potatoes, sometimes all in one sitting. I don't know if I can eat blueberries and lobsters and potatoes. I'm reading this with y'all, okay? Maine is home to Stephen King, the most trees per square mile of any state. And did I mention lobsters and snow? Don't forget the snow. If you enjoy trivia, you already know that Maine has the only single syllable state name, and that we are the only state bordering exactly one other state. I could do this all day. All right, so the next section is called Drastic Seasonal Changes. In Maine, we experience dramatic seasonal changes. Cold and snowy are offset by hot and humid summers. Short though they may be, spring is muddy, wet, and full of promise on non-pandemic years. Mind you, this is 4 years ago. It's 2024, almost 2025. It's December 2024. Get back to the spot. This is what happens when I don't read an article in advance to prepare myself. Okay, hold on. Hot and snowy, short may be spring. Autumn is crisp and colorful. Back in the day, the old me embraced this cyclical passage of time. I had cultivated outdoor passions for each season, never dreading the change of the calendar. The new me, the one with multiple sclerosis, I always say you get a new body, so you gotta learn how to use it, okay? The new me, the one with MS, could do without the Maine climate for about 300 days a year, and I concur. I really concur with that. Seasonal effects on MS symptoms. Summer in Maine is heavenly for most people, but when the temperature inside or outside rises much above 72 degrees Fahrenheit, I am beset with weakness and fatigue, over and above my everyday weakness and fatigue. The hotter it gets, the worse I feel. Fortunately, the effect is temporary, and once I find myself in cooler surroundings, such as after sunset, my condition improves, and I am no longer a prisoner of my air-conditioned home. September and October are ideal weather months for me. In fact, the genesis of this blog post idea was a statement I made to Kim a couple days ago. This is the coolest morning we've had in months, and I feel stronger already, I said. So this is what he's saying. I resonate with a lot of the temperature fluctuations. The warmest I can do outside and be comfortable is about 75 to 77 degrees. Once it hits 78, I need to be in the shade and doing nothing and have a fan on me. So, hold on. This little buddy. This right here. Lifesaver. So, and maybe like spread some water and a fan at the same time to keep you cool. But, yeah. I agree with that. Winter brings its own problems. So just because heat affects you in one way, it doesn't mean that winter is not going to do the same. You know, we got to remember that MS is a neurological condition, and climate affects it drastically. Let me go on with the article. Winter brings its own problems, but my comfort is short-lived because winter ushers in a fresh set of problems. On frigid days, my muscle spasticity goes crazy. And those are when your muscle spasticity, that's a simple way of saying muscle cramp, spasms. And not just a cramp where you can't rub this cramp out. You can't, like, there's, I go through this. I feel for the man. Okay, because he's actually writing this, and like, he's in a wheelchair. I'm not. Like, I'm mobile. He's not. You know, so there's a lot more that I can do, and like, that he wouldn't be able to do or adjust to, just because of the wheelchair. All right, on frigid days, my muscle spasticity goes crazy. When I venture outside in my wheelchair, my legs become so stiff that my feet lift off the foot pedals. And that's when they cramp, like, you know, flat. They're flat on the foot, right? And then all of a sudden, and they're lifted, and they stay like that. Imagine I always like to let people know how it feels by using this example. Most people get cramps in their calves, called a Charlie horse. Imagine that on all your muscles. That's spasticity. Those are spasms. And they kind of, for my back, for me personally, the spasms that I get in my back, it's like, they start, this is my shoulder right here, right? This is my shoulder. This is the back of me, right? It'll start somewhere right here, and then it'll move up, and then it'll move down, and then it'll shoot over to the other side of my back. And then you got that same thing while the muscles are tightened like that. So imagine going through that, you know, you're just having a lovely day, and then all of a sudden, and I have been in positions where I was like this for quite a while because I could not move. So, hold on, let's go back to his story. Fitting off the pedals. My arms become so rigid that it's difficult for me to control the joystick. You know, like little things. And it can be a 1 degree difference. That is how sensitive we are, which is why I'm like, this house is not working with me. It's going to make everything worse if I continue to live here without any, like, even without, like, the stairs too. Okay. With all the snow and ice we get in Maine, the sidewalks are often unsuitable for wheelchair travel. Once again, I am a prisoner in my own home, cozy though it may be. Okay. Where is that ideal MS climate? As I suffer through these seasonal changes, I sometimes wonder where I might enjoy a more favorable climate for my condition. I've already described why the extremes don't work. Maine, Minnesota, and Alaska are too cold. Arizona, Nevada, Mississippi, and Texas too hot. The Pacific Northwest. But there are regions of the country where the temperature swings are less drastic. How about the Pacific Northwest? It doesn't get as cold as Maine in the winters, nor as hot as Florida in the summers. With so much rainfall, however, it's not ideal for power wheelchair use outside. As I write this, I brace for the barrage of retorts from Oregon and Washington residents in defense of their beautiful, although lobsterless states. I'm reading this blog, y'all. This dude loves lobster. Okay, he loves fresh lobster. He don't want no frozen lobster. Oh. All right, so the next session is coastal California. That brings us to California. I have relatives in Santa Barbara where they suffer winter temps that plunge into the 60s and summer temps that soar into the 70s. That sounds amazing. Rainfall is scarce. It seems ideal, but there are non-weather related concerns. Yes, this is why I never consider California. I keep about to get to it. Non-weather related concerns such as earthquakes, wildfires, traffic, water shortages, because, you know, people forget California is, most of it is the desert. And perhaps most importantly, exorbitant housing costs. The other, if I moved to California from here, I'd be paying, it's the same budget. Same budget. Maryland and California, same thing. I'm paying the same thing because I looked at houses over there already, or apartments, you know, and some cheap ones that look safe enough. Okay. People who aren't wealthy can't afford to relocate to coastal California. And then the next section is, because I'm pretty sure he got this question, it says, why not live in two places? In their retirement years, lots of people from northern climates spend a few months in warm states such as Florida or Arizona, and a few months in cooler states like New York or Michigan. This is impractical, especially with our economy, and like, who does that anymore? However, for people with disabilities, especially those in wheelchairs, it's impractical. It takes time, energy, them spoons I'll be talking about, and money to make a home accessible. This home is not accessible. That is what is not being understood, okay? Few wheelchair users enjoy the luxury of a proper home, let alone two of them. And anyone can become disabled at any point. So, you know, this can go with really any disability situation. Okay, what about the rest of the world? Because I've been looking too. I would like to hear from readers on the subject, but I don't see myself living as an expat. When are Kim and I moving? Kim is his wife, I'm assuming. For now, we are staying put in Maine. Full disclosure, it's not only that our climate blend averages out to something reasonable. Maine is our home. It's what we know. It's where our peeps live. It's where Kim's career will continue for another 5+ years. And then this is the end of the article. He likes to ask a question. My questions for you: how does weather affect your day-to-day life with MS? Where do you think the perfect climate is for MS in America or abroad? And why are you not living there already? If you are living there already, when can I visit? That was a good article. It was funny. It was funny. So hold on, let me see, because there are comments on here. Let me see if I find. Oh, these are long comments. Yeah, I think most of these people. Okay, here we go. Someone has experienced MS for 55 years. Temperature, her name, the comment username is Judy Varley. She says, temperatures have affected my life as an MSer of over 55 years. I grew up in the Chicago area and lived there until age 27 when I relocated to upstate South Carolina for 23 years. Chicago back in the day was a wonderful place to live, but the winters were brutal with low temps, wind, and snow. When it started, it didn't melt until April. Back then, however, I knew I had problems, but never considered it was something not fixable. Living in South Carolina, the temperatures were godly hot and humid. As I reached my upper 40s, I'm in my lower 40s right now. I'm in my early 40s. I couldn't deal with those temperatures. In my late 40s, I relocated to Calgary, Alberta, and have been here ever since. Is that Canada? Okay, hold on. Alexa, where is Calgary, Alberta located at?
Calgary, Alberta is a city in the province of Alberta in Western Canada. Did that answer your question?
Yes. Okay.
Thanks for your feedback.
Let's get back to this. At my age, okay, so she's living in Canada. At my age, 73 now, we only have approximately 5 to 8 really not days. The rest of the summers are beautiful, as are spring and fall. Winter is a challenge, but I really don't mind that much being home for weeks at a time. This area is famous for its Chinook winds, which bring warmer weather and melting snows. So we kind of sit here and wait for the next Chinook. To me, it's an ideal place weather-wise. It's an ideal place weather-wise for me. Okay, so I thought about. Now I've been thinking about states in the eastern south, in the eastern side of the U.S. But having experienced living in the deep south, Mississippi, humid heat is not good for me at all. Not only do I get sicker, but I get heat rashes. Not fun. So, those are not fun at all. I have so many different noises coming from so many different places. It's crazy. I got the super fan going on up here. I got my fan, my fireplace thing. And then the clicking of the stove. Yo, I'm telling you right now, cold weather and extreme hot weather, can't do. I rather, with the heat, at least I can try to cool down a little bit. And there are ways to cool down, shower or water, don't do anything. But for the cold, it doesn't matter how much I put on, I'll still be cold. And I'll still be like this. And I'll still be have my spasms, until they decide they're good and they did enough damage and, they're bored. Once my spasms become bored, they leave me alone. And, but yeah, I went to bed last night. Yesterday, I was looking at different places and stuff like that, and revisiting places I used to live, and seeing how my body treated me, because MS just doesn't happen overnight. So I've had MS for who knows how long, and just diagnosed due to me not recovering from brain surgery. Y'all, if anyone out there has MS and, you know, you deal with severe colds, or you have like a lot of the same things that, what's his name? What is this guy's name? Mitch goes through, and you can relate to Mitch or me, drop some comments. Drop some comments, because I need to know that there are more people out here like this other than us two or us couple, you know, because this is wild, y'all. This is wild. And there's no amount of uncomfortability that I can continue to put on myself that I don't have to. Anyways, peace, y'all. Have a beautiful rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed this video. Love you.